Hey, how we doing? How we doing? All right, welcome to the YouTube channel. Um, I'm starting something new right now, so I'm doing my podcast like verbally at the same time I'm doing it the video. So I think this is gonna be my new method of doing this. So hopefully I like it. And we'll see what happens. Um, your boy Eric Ferguson, aka Jersey Kid, your favorite fitness trainer. All right. So today, let's get into I don't know if you watched it. To get my notes out, but I watched the Oprah special. Right, it was called "Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution." Um, so for me personally, I'm glad she's doing this, and I think it's a two-part series. So I think last Wednesday was the first part, and then this Wednesday, the 27th, is the second part. Um, a lot of what she was talking about was something that I think has been addressed, but still really needs to continue being addressed. And that was like the shame of the stigma of obesity and obese people, and how, as a society, we have put that shame on them as if obesity equals laziness. And I think that's been a real uneducated approach to this. And being a fitness coach and dealing with people who are going through this disease, right? So now we know medically this is a disease, which I'm glad that we finally know that, um, or that the general public finally knows that, right? I think we've kind of known that in the industry for a while now, and I'm glad that um, oh, my other mic just went off. Okay, all right, and I'm glad that it's finally come to the forefront that is actually a disease. It is. And just like any disease, there are different ways to deal with this, right? It's not just the old school approach of calories in, calories out, go work out, you got to move more. Sometimes that doesn't work, right? And one of the things on there, the medical professionals that was on the show, what they also put out was that just like any disease, right? So let's take cancer. You have different types of cancer. You have different stages of cancer. You have to attack those differently depending on what stage and what type and all that. Obesity the same way, right? So obesity, our brain controls our body fat percentage, how big our fat cells are, right? We know this. Obesity as a disease means there's a dysfunction with that part of the brain. So with that, you you have to attack that different ways. So yes, it might be fitness and nutrition, but it also might be this medications that they're doing, the Manjaro and all of those. Sometimes that's needed. I have clients that are on that. I mean, just because you're on it doesn't mean that you don't have to also have a good fitness and nutrition regimen, right? You need all of those. So that stigma of you just need to move more and calories in versus calorie out, that doesn't always work. And again, I'm glad that one. I think the first lady name was I should have wrote it down. I think it was Amy, and she was brave enough to come on the show. Um, but I really like the fact that they express this as a disease, and we need to hit it from different angles, right? Let's talk about the shame, right? We as a society, need to stop that, right? And I feel like now the people that are doing it are just like uneducated in it, right? So my plea to you is that if you don't know anything about this, if you're not dealing with anyone like this, if you're not going through this yourself, stay out of that. Like we don't need to hear your opinion about this if you've never had to deal with anything like that. Because what happens is, and a lot of people don't know this, when you are a bigger person and you go down the weight loss journey, you're not only fighting society. You and this was a good insight from Oprah and her guest. you're thinking about food 24/7, right? You're eating one meal, thinking about the next one. Us as people who don't have to go through it, we're not even thinking like that. Our our brain function as in that realm is working properly. We're not thinking about it like that. Our body is not trying to fight us to stay at that size. When they're going down this weight loss journey, their body is actually fighting them, trying to stay at that size. So they're fighting society, they're fighting their mental, they're also fighting their physical because their body's trying to stay there. That's three fights in one while we're sitting on the outside talking shit about them. Like, so I need y'all to stop that. Plus, they're also shaming themselves because in their mind, they should be able to lose the weight just like anybody else, but they can't. Right? So just think about anybody else who's going through any kind of mental depression. It's kind of the same thing, right? They're shaming themselves, they're blaming themselves. So one, I need y'all to stop that. I need y'all to understand that it's not your fault. And then you need to seek medical attention. You need to seek medical help. Um, so I'm glad they touched on that. Other thing I want to point out with this, and I'm hoping that her next segment dives deeper into each part. Right? It was just like a touch on each thing. Um, but the other part I want to really get at is the kids. Do I feel kids should be on this on the medication? And I know like the top two medications aren't regulated for kids or aren't approved for kids. All right, here's as a fitness coach that deals with youth athletes. Um, if it gets to the point where we're even talking about putting minors on this, and when I say minors, I mean I would hope that we're at least talking about like 13, 13, 14, 15. I really wouldn't go any lower than 13. But there are some extreme cases to where they need that, right? So it really comes to the point of yes, they're a minor. These meds have been through trials and everything. And if it gets to that point to where we're talking about it, to where we're talking about either put them on the meds or understand they're going to have diabetes and you can be burying your child, that kind of hits different, right? And as a parent who has never had to go through that, but I've dealt with parents who are currently going through that, it hits different when you're talking about your child because here's why. As an adult, when you're a beast. People in a society, again, as a society, people treat you differently, right? And people who have lost weight, it's been known. I was treated different when I was bigger versus now that I'm smaller, which is an effed up way that society treats people. And hopefully one day that dumb shit will stop too. But for right now, most people, I guess it is what it is. But as a kid, as a minor, you already have enough issues just being a kid, trying to find yourself, trying to deal with making friends and going, navigating that. Now you also have to go through. You're a bigger kid. You're getting teased. You're possibly going down the road to have another disease on top of this one, right? Like so, diabetes on top of obesity, two diseases, one disease caused by another one, right? Um, and then for the parents to have to sit down every day and think about what's the best route for my kid. Do I put them on this meds that was yes, it's clinically approved for minors, which is great, but now they have the stigma from the public who don't have to go through this but always have an opinion. Um, they're getting teased at school as far as the kids are getting teased at school versus putting them on these meds and not having, hopefully having the kids stay away from, being diagnosed with diabetes and having not for the parent to have to bury the kid. Which route do we go? Here's the thing, and one of the parents said it perfectly, and I love the parent that said this: walk a mile in their shoes. Like I said, I deal with parents that have to do this, but I've never had to be that parent to do it. So why would I judge them? Why would I Only thing I can say as a fitness coach, choose a route and let's work together whichever route you choose. Yeah, whichever route you choose. Not my kid. This is your kid. This is your decision between you and your family. Which hopefully is everybody's approach, but as we know, it's not. But I love the fact that she said that walk a mile in my shoes, which is correct. If you're not in that situation, leave your comments out of that. All right. Um, let me get to my notes. One of the medical professionals, um, Dr. W. Scott Butch from the Cleveland Clinic, and he was talking about obesity, right? A lot of factors around that. Many environments, right? Genetic, sleep, food, the processed food, the microbiome, and processed food, right? He's the one that said the brain controls the body fat, the food intake, metabolism, right? So again, when you have that dysfunction in the brain, it's not working. For us, who's that part of the brain functions properly, we get the full signals, right? We get the hunger signals, and we get the full signals. When your brain doesn't function properly in that realm, you don't get the full signals. So you just keep eating. And we all know we keep eating, the body's going to store the fat, yada yada yada. We know that part. But if you know this is just as much of a mental illness as it is a physical illness, and it's classified as a disease, then yes, we have to attack this from different realms. So as fitness coaches, some of your bigger clients might need to take this, might need to start looking into this. Still work with them because they're going to need your expertise also, right? That's one realm, and then the meds are the other realm. You work together, you'll be able to achieve that goal, and that's really what we want. Um, what was the other one? It's one she said. Oh, was it her? I can't remember which one. Whether it was Dr. Velasquez from the Center for Weight Management in LA or Dr. Jennifer Aniston. Ashton, sorry. But she hit it right on one of the two. I forgot which one. I'll go back and look at it. She hit it right on the mark, though. Obesity is a complex chronic disease, not a character flaw. I love that. I think if more people realized that and looked into that, hopefully it'd be less shame and less blame and more compassion and more really just trying to help these people that are going through with this, help them out more, right? Because it's not about willpower. They can have all the willpower in the world. If it's a disease and the whole calories in, calories out, move more doesn't work for them, the willpower doesn't matter. It's about getting the proper meds and the proper treatment for it. All right. So again, shouts out to Oprah. Let's go through. Okay, a lot of people asking about the side effects. So yeah, of course, with any meds there are side effects, right? I think the main one people said it was nausea, and I know some people was talking about thyroids and all of that. Before you start any meds, you should always get screened. Because one thing I've noticed, and I'm not a big medicine person, so I'm not vouching for all the meds. But with this one thing we should always do before we start a major medication like this is get screened for other things, right? Let's get screened for other things. Let's find out if these meds are actually correct for us. Let's take the precautions on our side before we jump on into that big medication, right? And that's my soapbox for that one. But shout out to Oprah for doing this. The first session or the first episode was great. I really enjoyed that. I I hope the second one again dives deeper into each part and just like kind of hits more of the medical part and dives deeper into it and more educational because they kind of skim through each part. I hope it breaks it down a lot more. But that one comes out this Wednesday, and I'll be watching that one, and I'll do another video on that. And then any comments, questions, anything, put down in the comments, um, and let's really get started. All right, I'm trying to do these videos a lot more. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, And on that note, I am out of here. Have a great day.